I'm unboxing and reviewing a ScaleTrains 5188 Greenbrier covered hopper in the Rivet Counter series on Ron's Trains and Things right now. Hi, I'm Ron of Ron's Trains and Things, and if you'd like to see more model railroad tips, tools, and techniques, then be sure and subscribe down below and click that little bell icon so you can catch future videos. Over the last few years, ScaleTrains.com has been taking the model railroad world by storm with some of the most incredibly detailed and quality locomotives and rolling stock that the HO and N-scale market has ever seen. I've been very impressed with some of the products that they've come out with, some of the best detailed locomotives and rolling stock in N-scale that I've ever seen anywhere. Well, today I'm going to be showing you one of their brand new products. That is a Greenbrier 5188 cubic foot covered hopper in the Rivet Counter series.
That's right, Steve Brown. It's a rivet counter.
I pre-ordered some of this rolling stock and just got it in the mail this weekend, and I'm going to unbox it with you, and we're going to take our first look at it together. Now, this is not a sponsored video. I didn't receive any of the rolling stock that you'll see today directly from ScaleTrains or from any other hobby shop or supplier. It wasn't given to me. I purchased it. Therefore, what you're going to see today is an objective review of my honest opinion of this rolling stock as I see its looks and its function. And I hope that'll be helpful to you as you make decisions about whether or not you want to purchase some of this rolling stock for yourself. So to start with, let's go over to the workbench where we'll unbox this covered hopper and we'll take a first look at it together. Today, we're looking at ScaleTrains Rivet Counter Series Greenbrier 5188 cubic foot covered hopper in N-scale. These are brand new covered hoppers that have just come out on the market. The advanced reservation orders have just been shipped out in the last few weeks, and we're going to be taking a look at them today. Now, these particular models come in a variety of road names and road numbers for each of those road names. They come in 3 different body styles, and they have road name and number specific details. So the models I'm going to look at today are going to be detailed for these particular models, but other road names, other numbers may have some slightly different details as are appropriate to them. Now, we're going to unbox this particular model today. ScaleTrains packages their N-scale rolling stock in much the way you've come to expect from a variety of retailers who make quality N-scale equipment. Comes in this nice cardboard sleeve. Has the specific information for the specific model on the end of the car, as you might expect. And then as we come to the box itself, we can slide this sleeve off, and we see that the model comes in a nice plastic jewel case, as has been the case for quality N-scale models for a number of years. And as we pull the top off of the jewel case, fits nice and snug. Set it aside. We see the model has is completely shrouded in a hard plastic or casing that holds it in place and protects it, and then inside of that it is wrapped in a protective plastic coating just to keep it from getting marred or scratched in shipping. And there is our model as it comes in the box. Now we're going to carefully pull that model out, and as we set it up here and look in the box, there are no other detail parts or anything in the box, so we'll set it aside for now. Now, just a quick glance, and you're going to immediately see that this is a very finely detailed model. Immediately from this camera angle, you can see the roof walks, which are stainless steel etched metal roof walks that you can see through. And the detailing on the sides of the locomotive are very quickly apparent, that they are very crisp and very sharp and beautiful, as we have come to expect from ScaleTrains. This again is their rivet counter series, which is kind of their middle of the line series. It almost hurts me to say it that way because they are such incredibly beautifully detailed pieces of rolling stock and locomotives as well. They do have a runner series, which is a little less, has a little less of the delicate detail on it for those who may run them a lot and handle them a lot and are concerned about the braking. They also have a very high-end series known as their museum series, which has even finer detail, which honestly for me is hard to imagine. So let's get this down with a really tight camera angle so we can really take a close look at the details of this model and see exactly what it has to offer. Here's a nice close-up view of one side of this covered hopper, and you can immediately see that the decals, the printing are sharp, crisp, they are legible. I mean, even with the naked eye, you can see that the very fine lettering is clearly very sharp and crisp, even though you can't really read a lot of it with the naked eye. But I have put a magnifying glass to it, and it is legible. I'll try to blow it up here on camera if I can, so that you can see just how crisp that lettering is. You see the fine detail on the sides. The ladders are very delicate and look very, very nice. The stirrup steps are photo etched and again look fantastic. These models come with ASF ride control trucks, and they have excellent detail on the trucks. They're not overly sized. All of the components of the trucks look pretty prototypically sized. The details of the springs and all are very, very nice. And you can see here, I think even from the side, as I tilt it just a little bit, that the detail on the hoppers on the bottom look very nice. Again, the printing there, as you see it, just looks very, very good. As we turn to the brake end of the car, you see, of course, the brake wheel, the chain detail, which is very fine and delicate. I'll try to get a photograph to show you in B-roll here of the brake hardware, the brake cylinder and all of the piping in there. Just looks very, very, very nice. You can see the cut lever here, which is very delicate and looks extremely good. Also the train line hose here, and of course you see the coupler. Now Microtrains uses their own Type E couplers, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the coupler on this car in just a little bit. The coupler looks good, but I want to talk a little bit later about some of the functionality of these couplers. Turning on around to the other side, again you see here pretty much what you saw from the first side. Again, the detail looks pretty much the same. Very fine printing, all of the detail on the bottoms of the hoppers, the sides of the trucks. It just looks great. And then as we look at the B end here, with a little less detail from the brakes, you can see into the slope panels here, and the printing on the ends, and you can see just how nice these cars look in all of these detail, all of the brake hardware that is in there for applying the brakes on this end of the car. Now let's turn to the bottom of the car and take a look at some of the detail there. Turning the car on its side, you can see it comes with very nice semi-scale wheel sets. Now the wheel sets do tend to be just a little bit loose in the trucks, and so you have to kind of watch that a little bit, but they're very free rolling. In fact, the rolling ability and the coasting distance on these cars is fantastic, as you can see in some B-roll right here. Again, you see the unloading chutes here. I have very fine detail on them, really far better than average detail on the underneath side of a covered hopper than you typically see on the in-scale models. This just goes to show the level of detail and the level of quality and the high standards that ScaleTrains uses, as they tool and build these cars. Also notice that the trucks are mounted with screws, which is a preference of mine. A lot of trucks these days are friction pin mounted, and that's okay, but sometimes those friction pins get loose and your trucks will tend to come off. Screws will never do that. So I really like the screw mounted trucks. Now let's get our camera up high and see if we can't take a look at some of the details from the top of this model. Turning now to the top of the model, again, you can see the very fine stainless steel see-through etched walkway, roof walk. You see the separately applied metal grab irons painted safety yellow here on the roof walk. And of course also you'll notice the same see-through stainless steel etched walkways for the end platforms as well on these cars, which makes some very fine detail. The detail for the hatches is very, very delicate. The best I think I've ever seen on an N-scale model as far as the hatch detail itself. As for weight, I weighed these models, and checking the NMRA recommended practices, this model, according to the NMRA, should weigh about 1.1 ounces for its size. And as you see here, I put it on the scale, and it actually weighed in at 1.4 ounces. So a little overweight, which in my opinion will make these cars actually track a little bit better, and a pretty good quality rolling stock as far as that is concerned. Now I want to put this on the track and show you something about the couplers. Here you see my ScaleTrains car on the left and an Exact Rail covered hopper on the right. The Exact Rail car has Microtrains trucks, and according to ScaleTrains, their Type E trucks are supposed to be compatible with Microtrains trucks. But what you're going to notice as I roll these together is that they do not easily couple together. You can force them to couple, but just backing into a car, they will not couple. If I force them together several times, sometimes they will couple, sometimes they won't. Now, if I pick up a car and set the couplers into one another, they will track together. So I guess in that sense you might say they're compatible. But as far as coupling and uncoupling, they don't work well together at all. And in fact, I've tried this ScaleTrains car with some other ScaleTrains cars, and I found that these Type E trucks really don't couple together very well, even with one another. So I think this is one of the few drawbacks that ScaleTrains needs to work through in its N-scale lines. I know this has been true of its locomotives as well as its rolling stock. And for me, I will be upgrading these couplers to Microtrains couplers in the future. Now, according to Microtrains, the coupler mounting boxes will accept Microtrains numbers 1015 or 1016 couplers, and so probably in a future video you're going to be seeing me upgrading these couplers to Microtrains couplers. Now, despite the problem with the couplers on these cars and their compatibility with Microtrains, or even the coupling issues they have with one another, these are some fantastic, beautiful cars. They look great. The detail is incredible. They roll and track extremely well. And in most cars that you would buy that don't come with Microtrains couplers, most cases, N-scalers are going to be upgrading those couplers to Microtrains anyway. So with the coupler pockets that are supposed to be compatible with the Microtrains couplers, upgrading these won't be a big deal. Although I will say that for the price that you pay for these cars, being a premium car, being a little more expensive, I kind of would expect to have couplers that would be well compatible with everything else on my layout. But again, apart from that, I think these are some fantastic cars, and I look forward to having them running on my layout. And of course, what could be better than having one of these beautiful ScaleTrains covered hoppers on your layout? Well, how about an entire unit train of them pulling commodities over your layout? These covered hoppers are going to make some beautiful additions to my layout, and I'm really excited to have them as a unit train on my layout. As I said, I will be upgrading the couplers to Microtrains couplers in the future, and when I do, I'll show you on video exactly how I do that. Now, if you're looking for some great, highly detailed rolling stock for your layout, then ScaleTrains.com is some of the very top of the market, especially in N-scale right now. So if that's something that is of interest to you, then I highly recommend these models. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, here's a link to some more model railroading videos that I know you'll enjoy as well. Also, be sure to check out the description down below where you'll find links to my Amazon page and my Amazon Pick of the Week, as well as my Patreon page and ways that you can connect with me on social media. Be sure and join me each Tuesday as I'll be bringing you more great model railroad videos, and I look forward to seeing you then. Lizzie? I don't know what I'm doing.